Alright, depending on your time zone and your location, we're having a big news today, and it is about MAZI Nnamdi Kanu. That's about the 12th day of November 2025. So, for just 8 days, in 1 week and 1 day time, MAZI Nnamdi Kanu's court will resume at the Federal High Court for hearing on the judgment that Omotosho has concluded that Nov 20th Judgement passed judgment on the case of MAZI Nnamdi Kanu versus the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So we saw a news update that has been trending since yesterday, and the headline says Nnamdi Kanu asked courts to stop November 20th judgment. I also saw another one where they say MAZI Nnamdi Kanu heads back to Supreme Court. So I'm going to go through each of these updates one after the other. We know what is actually happening. Before that day, that a whole lot of news updates will be coming out. So MAZI Nnamdi Kanu has told them that November 20th judgment will be of no use. I mean, they should just stop it because it's going to lead to nothing. So let us listen to what the update says. From Prince Kanu's handle, I got this update, and the update says the 10th leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, has asked the Federal High Court to stop the delivery of its judgments scheduled for November 20th in the terrorism charges against him. In addition, he is seeking an order setting aside all proceedings and orders made by Justice James Omotosho in charge number FCH ABJCR 383-2015 for want of jurisdiction and violation of constitutional supremacy. Alright, Justice James Omotosho of the Abuja Division of the Federal High Court has fixed November 20th to deliver judgment in charge number FCH ABJCR 383-2015 brought against him by the federal government. Alright, but in a motion dated and filed on November 10th, Kanu is seeking an order arresting the delivery of the judgment on the ground that the proceedings were conducted under repealed and non-existing statutes and in disobedience to the Supreme Court's directive, contrary to the Section 287 subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution. The motion, signed and filed by Kanu, was brought pursuant to Section 6 subsection 6b, Section 33 subsection 6a, and Section 12 and 287 subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution, Section 220, 233, 259, and 396 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015, Section 122 and 127 of the Evidence Act 2011, and Section 76 subsection 1d of 3 of the Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act 2022. The motion is further urging the courts to declare that by virtue of Section 287 subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution, the trial court was constitutionally bound to give effect to the Supreme Court findings that count 15, now count 7, does not exist in law, and its failure renders all subsequent proceedings null and void. Alright, Kanu is equally seeking an order of the court declaring that the failure of the trial court to take judicial notice of the repeal of the 2013 Terrorism Act, contrary to Section 122 of the Evidence Act 2011, vitiates all steps taken thereunder. Okay, a declaration that by virtue of Section 76, subsection 1d, subsection 3 of the Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act 2022, the Federal High Court lacks jurisdiction to try him in the absence of proof that the alleged conduct constituted an offense under Kenyan law or any Kenyan judicial validation or extradition law. He wants a declaration that this plea, purportedly taken on March 29, 2025, under a repealed and non-existing statute and in a violation of Section 220 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015, conferring jurisdiction on the trial court. Meanwhile, the Nnamdi Kanu Global Defense Consortium has asked Justice James Omotosho not to proceed with the delivery of the November 20th judgment, as doing so would amount to trampling upon the very foundation of the nation's constitutional order, the non-derogable rights to be heard. In a statement signed by Onyedika Chifedi, the defense lawyer urged that the motion to arrest the judgment was lawful and constitutionally compelled acts of defense. It demands that the court obeys the rule of law before it speaks in the name of justice. Under the motion is heard and determined, no valid judgment can issue in FHC ABJC 3383-2015. Justice Omotosho stands at a defining juncture to affirm the supremacy of the constitutional or risk being recorded as a judge who pronounced judgment over silence, the statement reads. So, if I have an update I have for today regarding this MAZI Nnamdi Kanu forthcoming court sitting, MAZI Nnamdi Kanu is obviously stating the obvious in this update I for here, telling them that they can't disobey their own law and want to try him on an offense that is not backed by any law. You understand? So this is what MAZI Nnamdi Kanu is trying to make them understand in this particular update. So MAZI Nnamdi Kanu is still standing his ground very, very strong, that he has no case whatsoever to answer until they start obeying their own law, because the charges against him has no backing of any law. You can't disobey your own court order and want him to now stand trial in the midst of all this he called it shenanigans that is happening. So we'll still be looking up to hear some updates kaya drop regarding this update. So MAZI Nnamdi Kanu is still standing his ground very strong. I mean, standing that as long as the court refuses to obey their own law and do the right thing, he is not ready to stand any trial. You know, initially he asked them to show him the law that is backing all these charges against him. I mean, the terrorism charges and some other things they mentioned. So up to now, Omotosho and some other judges have failed to actually tell MAZI Nnamdi Kanu, okay, look at where you violated, look at the law. You know, he was telling them in the last court, show me the written law. Show me the written law, and no written law was shown to him. So I can get a chance more details on actually what is going to play out before the 20th and on the 20th of November. So meanwhile, I'll leave you guys to watch this other video. Share your thoughts and your opinion after watching the video, and also do well to share the video. Candles always so quiet with fear. Enjoy the rest of the video, guys. I will be right back.
The Bandits spokesperson stated in a now viral video, and I quote, "It was the government that wanted us to engage in banditry, but now it has called us and told us to stop."
What did I hear, or is my ear paining me?
The Bandits spokesperson stated in a now viral video, and I quote, "It was the government that wanted us to engage in banditry, but now it has called us and told us to stop."
Government, this is at your doorstep. Bandits are now saying that you are the ones using them. And we've also seen allegations against government officials. We've also seen government officials do photo op with bandits.
Right.
We've also had government officials being mentioned. Government, if you love this country, release the list of the terrorist financier that was released in Dubai.
All right. Armed bandits in Katsina State have made stunning allegations claiming the Nigerian government orchestrated their criminal activities only now decided to call for peace during a peace meeting between Batagwawa and Karakchinchi communities held on Saturday. One of the bandits declared they have stopped attacks following government intervention. The bandit spokesperson stated in a now viral video, and I quote, "It was the government that wanted us to engage in banditry, but now it has called us and told us to stop." He alleged that despite 2 months of attempts to initiate peace talks, authorities only located them when they genuinely decided to engage. The armed group insisted that peaceful coexistence depends entirely on Nigerian leaders, stating, "If you want to cry, don't cry with us, the terrorists, but cry with your government, for they are the ones who made us do what we have been doing." I mean, this is really, really alarming, Rufai. The allegations raise serious questions about the relationship between criminal networks and state actors, echoing long-standing suspicions about complicity in Nigeria's worsening insecurity. Rufai, your thoughts, and also I'd like your thoughts on the two stories as well, just to put them all together before we take this one.
Real quickly, see, Oji, in a country where bandits can pick up a mic and say this in a public space, when did they say this? What has been the reaction of the government to it? You see, that's why I said a lot of the problems our government can solve if we are ready. And this attempt to make it be about Christians and Muslims is never true. My Muslim brothers, my Christian brothers, we are all one, united. Our adversaries are those that are using insecurity to hurt all of us. Let's not fall to their propaganda. Christians, Muslims, can't you see they've started again? They've started using our heads to knock each other. Christians, Muslims, can't you see that they're not talking about the killings of all of us as Nigerians? They are talking about us against each other. Christians, Muslims, we need to be united. Just like we all prayed together and we stood united during EndSARS. We serve one God, the living God. Do not allow these actors to pit Christians against Muslims. Our adversary is the insecurity. I'm happy that Reverend Ayab is speaking up against this. So, during the data, although because I'm not seeing the primary data that Beacon Security had, but doesn't his data even justify the allegations of genocide? Genocide, when you go back to Lepkin's definition of genocide, it talks about intent to clear out the cultural antecedents, physical assault and brutality. Over 100 churches. Doesn't it talk about it? And so when government was saying 81% reduction, but Beacon Security is saying there's been an increase. What terrorism index is saying Nigeria is now number 6 from the position of number 8 it was in 2023. Isn't it time for us to look inward? So government, this is at your doorstep. Terror bandits are now saying that you are the ones using them. And we've also seen allegations against government officials. We've also seen government officials do photo op with bandits. Right. We've also had government officials being mentioned. Right. Government, if you love this country, release the list of the terrorist financiers that was released in Dubai.
All right.
And let justice and the killing end.
All right. Well, before I come to you, meanwhile, U.S. Congressman Riley Moore of West Virginia, who has been one of the leading voices in the American government's allegations of a Christian genocide, appeared on Fox News telling the public not to test President Trump's resolve on the issue. Moore stated that Trump is very serious about the issue and that Nigeria should instead use this moment as an opportunity to build a stronger relationship with the United States. Let's take a look.
Said this multiple times, do not test this president's resolve. He is very serious about this. And I do want to highlight something that I've been saying constantly here, that this is actually an opportunity for the Nigerians to strengthen and deepen their relationship with the United States, where we could actually do some enhanced partnership capacity building with them to counter this terrorist threat that they have just spreading across their country. So I'm asking Nigeria, do the right thing here. Partner with the United States, help us protect the Christians in your country, and we will help you. This doesn't have to be all sticks. It can also be carrots here. Or we do have these kinetic military options on the table, which the president has made very clear he will consider.
This is the point, Ayo. Well, Moore's comments in this interview appear to reflect a change in tone from the more aggressive rhetoric the public initially heard from President Trump and his threats to go into Nigeria guns a-blazing. The congressman has suggested that cooperation might be possible for both countries to strengthen their relationship with one another. And this is what I have been preaching on this table. Ayo, a quick sum up, and then we'll take our mouths.
All right, so the video with the bandits just justifies what I said earlier about the government knowing who these terrorist financiers are. They know who the people who are behind them, and they can go after them if they have the political will. Now, this is where the U.S. comes. Yes, we can argue about whether or not the U.S. has Nigeria's best interest at heart, but that tweet or that ex-post by Donald Trump has changed the trajectory of things for Nigeria. We're at least now talking about insecurity. It's now on the front burner more than it's ever been, at least in recent times. And so for that reason alone, I am happy for that ex-post. Yes. Now, going back to the advice by Pastor Deboye saying that let's diplomatically have conversations with the United States and show with evidence that we can handle this issue. But can we have partnership in terms of support? The best way that America can help Nigerian Christians or Nigeria as a whole to tackle insecurity is to work with the government, because whether or not America cannot situate its boots on ground forever, they will have to go back. So can they empower or work in synergy? So from intelligence, what they're saying is that let us be aware of the date you're coming, if you're coming, when you're coming at all. Work with the Nigerian security apparatus, because at the end of the day, whatever is left in terms of mopping up the rest of what they've done, it's the Nigerian army that will do that. And so the Nigerian army has to be empowered, equipped in collaboration with the United States to ensure that we tackle insecurity. We have the solution. Let's work in hand with another power that has even better capacity to handle this issue.
Yes, I mean, the government has shown, the Nigerian government has shown that they have a listening ear, right? I mean, I know that they are listening at this point. What we need is a collaboration, and I will keep emphasizing that the best that I can.
Now, how can our government defend this allegation? The bandits say na them, they empower them to do the banditry. Wahala.